In actually April of 2021, Washington County declared ourselves to be a Purple Heart County. We did a resolution number 92, and what you're seeing today is kind of the culmination of that. We're going to have some signs on all the entrances to Washington County, and we're very, very proud of the people that have done the ultimate. My grandfather was a Purple Heart, as a matter of fact. I've still got the thing on the wall. I wanted to introduce today Scott Bendett. He's a member of Assembly for the 107th District. Scott was really instrumental in getting this whole system going and in operation, and I think you'd a lot rather hear from him than hear from me. So introduce Scott and have him come up.
Thank you, everybody. The first Purple Heart was awarded in New York State. The Purple Heart Hall of Heroes is in New Windsor, New York. So it was appropriate that we ourselves made ourselves a Purple Heart state. And I was proud to sponsor that legislation and carry it. And then my colleague, John McDonald, was also instrumental in passing that bill. Jake Ashby passed it in the Senate as well. Our history is something that I really admire a lot, and for me, it's really an honor to be an American. You see, I'm Jewish, and my family came here 125 years ago, and they came to a country that allowed Jewish people to come and practice their religion and be a part of a community without fear of repercussions for practicing their religion like they had everywhere else in the world over thousands and thousands of years. And so I think it's kind of funny that I married a woman who is a pilgrim. She's from the Mayflower. Her ancestors made this country. And I'm proud that I have my mother-in-law here, Irene Van Tassel Homer, formerly of Washington County, now of Warren County, who instilled in us a sense of pride as to who we were. I've been with my wife for 40 years, so even though my mom's passed away at 50 years old, so I've been with my mother-in-law for a long time, but she instilled in all of us a sense of pride. And both my grandfathers were World War II veterans, and they fought the Nazis. And right now, it's really kind of weird. People throw this word around Nazi like it's not what it is. The Nazis rounded up a bunch of people, and then they murdered them, put them in concentration camps and murdered them. Now people are trying to conflate some of the things that are going on in our society today with that. And that's kind of sad. But my Nazi killer grandfathers were my size, all of 5'6". And one of them was wounded in battle. And you'd think they'd send you home after that, right? But they don't. They sent him to France, and they taught him how to make teeth. And that was his job. Then he actually did that job for his whole life. So I'm grateful to the Army for training him on how to make teeth and giving him a career that allowed my father to stand on his shoulders and me to stand on my father's shoulders. You see, America is such a great country that it's hard to believe that 125 years later, after immigrants came here starving, they couldn't speak English, without any money, and yet 125 years later, their grandson could represent 135,000 people in the state of New York. I think our country is the best. I really, truly do. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And I think New York is the best. And I think especially where we live in the capital region is just the best, or maybe this is the northern end of the capital region, but I still consider it that. But when I drive around and I see Purple Heart signs recognizing the contributions of people who made the ultimate sacrifice of passing away, or people who've been injured in battle, it's really heartwarming to know that we as a community recognize the contributions of veterans in our communities. You see, in Rensselaer County, we talk about it a lot, and we say that every day is Veterans Day in Rensselaer County. And we try to make sure that we honor our veterans in a variety of different ways. And I know that you guys do the same here. You have the same feelings. And I'm just going to leave you with this one last thought. And this is a quote from my friend, former Congressman Mike McNulty, who started Honor of Veteran Services throughout the Capital Region that we do all over today. And he said, every morning that I wake up, I thank God for my life. And then I thank a veteran for my way of life. So thank you very much for having me here. And I hope that we can continue to provide the services that's needed for our veterans to make sure that they feel the way that we feel about them, that they know that they're honored and their contributions are valid. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more speaker. You don't need to listen to me. Sam Hall is former chairman of the board. He's the current chairman of our personnel committee, but more significant than that, he was a director of veteran services for a long number of years. He was doing that when I first came here. So he's making me nervous because Scott came up with nothing and he's got 15 pages in a sheet, but nevertheless, Mr. Sam Hall.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. This will be short. What I would like to do is just describe some of the criteria for having a Purple Heart and how that process works, because some may not. But what this will do, this ceremony today, and these signs being placed in our county when they enter our county, will prove to everyone, and especially veterans from other areas that may come in that are Purple Heart recipients, that Washington County cares about veterans. We care about their service. We care about their injuries and the price that they paid. And it will also, to those families that have lost people through war, soldiers, airmen, people served in the Navy that have been lost in combat or from their injuries in war, that Washington County cares about them as well. Because when a veteran serves, the family serves as well. And they make a sacrifice when they lose their loved ones. It is ironic that next year we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War, and the original Purple Heart, designated as the badge of military merit, and it was established by George Washington, then the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, by order from his Newburgh, New York headquarters on 7 August 1782. It was only awarded to 3 Revolutionary soldiers by Washington himself. Washington authorized his subordinate officers to issue badges of merit as appropriate. Although never abolished, the award of the badge was not proposed again officially until after World War I. The Purple Heart is awarded in the name of the President of the United States to any member of the armed forces of the United States who, while serving under competent authority in any capacity with one of the U.S. Armed Services after 5 April of 1917, has been wounded or killed. The Purple Heart differs from most other decorations in that an individual is not recommended for the decoration. Rather, the service member is entitled to it upon meeting specific criteria. So this is something that's not recommended. It's something that they're entitled to. And I used to see as Director of Veteran Services many times individuals that were entitled to it, or for a multitude of different reasons, individuals may not have been presented that award. They may have been injured in combat, and medical records were not documented because they were transferred out and went someplace else and started serving with another unit. And things happen in war, and the military is as bureaucratic as anything else, so those kind of things happen. And I think Colonel Wilson can attest to that, how those things change and move along very rapidly, and people don't get the recognition they need at that point in time. So we would go back and try to reconstruct what we could get for the individual so we could go in and get them that award of the Purple Heart. A wound is defined as an injury to any part of the body from an outside force or agent sustained under one or more of the conditions that exist. And there's a whole list of those that go on, but it's from shrapnel wounds to bullet penetration to many things that can go in those categories. A physical reason is not required, and workers of medical treatment for wounds or injuries received in action must have been made a matter of official record. When contemplating an award for this declaration, the key issue that commanders must take into consideration is the degree to which the enemy caused the injury. The fact that the proposed recipient was participating in direct or indirect combat operations is a necessary prerequisite, but is not sole justification for award. The Purple Heart is not awarded for non-combat injuries. So, if in basic training or if during your regular duty you trip on your way out of the mess hall or wherever, you're not awarded a Purple Heart. This is for service above and on. It's for taking an injury under combat situations, and it can be issued to those that have passed as a result of those injuries. It's interesting that the other portion of that is that enemy-related injuries which justify the award of Purple Heart include, excuse me for just a second, they're caused by the enemy, the bullet, the shrapnel, or other projectiles created by enemy actions, injury caused by enemy-placed landmine, naval mine, or trap, injury caused by enemy-released chemical, biological, or nuclear agent, injury caused by vehicle or aircraft accident resulted from enemy fire, and concussion injuries caused as a result of enemy-generated explosions. So you can see that the list is long. It doesn't include things like frostbite or trench foot and those types of things, but it does have to be caused by the enemy. And this is one of the awards that you won't see a veteran going by and saying, I got the Purple Heart. But they take it very humbly, and they take it with pride, but they don't go around and brag, I got a Purple Heart, because that's something they take and they hold very dear, and it's a personal thing in many cases to them. And just a discussion of it can bring it back to a place in their mind where they'd rather not be. So in saying that, and in conclusion, on behalf of all the veterans within Washington County that have Purple Hearts, and all those veterans that pass through our county now and have in the past that have Purple Hearts, I would like to thank the following individuals for their efforts in making this project of recognition possible. We in Washington County have always had a good reputation of working together within all of our various departments. And this took a few of the departments to work together to get us to this point. I'd like to thank Ken Winchell, the Director of Washington County Veteran Services. Ken, could you raise your hand here? I know you're here somewhere. Thank you, Ken, for carrying on with this and finally getting put in place. Deb Donahue, the Superintendent of Washington County Public Works. Where's Deb? She's here somewhere too. Hi, Deb. Thank you. Bob Henke, the Chairman of Washington County Board of Supervisors. Bob, thank you for your hand in this. Melissa Fitch, the Washington County Administrator. Thank you. There's a lot of stuff that's done behind the scenes to make this kind of things a reality. It's just not as easy to pass in a resolution and it happens. And then I would like to thank my 16 colleagues on the Washington County Board of Supervisors for their support for not only this, but all the support they give to the veterans in Washington County. Washington County is known, and Mike and Ken can attest to the fact we have many other veterans that come from other counties that want us to represent them for their benefits that they're entitled to, because they know that the Washington County Veteran Service Agency is a class act. They're well educated, they're well trained, and they know how to go to battle with the Veterans Administration. So on behalf of all those veterans, I'd like to say thank you to those individuals. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you. I appreciate seeing all these people here. I'm really glad we got good attendance here today, and I hope you all start looking for the purple signs on the way into the county from now on. We also should mention Building and Grounds, our Building and Grounds Department, who did a really nice job with the landscaping stuff, cleaning this up. This didn't look like this yesterday. So congratulations and thank you for that. And thank you very much for everybody for coming.